I think can really help you for any holiday. If you celebrate Thanksgiving, this is for you. I am feeling much better, and we're like 2 weeks from Thanksgiving, and I was trying to decide what to talk to you about, and I thought I'm going to talk to you about Thanksgiving. So if you celebrate Thanksgiving and you're stressing over that and you're hosting, this is the video for you, because that's what we're going to talk about today. I don't think I'm hosting. There's a chance I might end up hosting, but yeah, one of the things with our family is as we've grown and there's grandkids coming along and things like that, it's harder and harder for us all to get together. So we're almost having to break out now a little bit. Anyway, okay, but I thought I could sit down and talk to you about this today, give you some tips on your holiday. Now, I did kind of write a whole thing up. I'm going to be reading a little bit. I'll be looking down and reading my notes. Hopefully this won't be too boring, but all right. I do need to tell you guys, I have not found Turkey Lurkey. Yep, I'm still missing. I have a salt and pepper shaker, and I can only find half of it. I've also, you guys noticed, I've taken down some stuff. I'm in a whole different mindset for decorating right now, and I took down all of the pictures off my wall. So I'm kind of living in this minimal space right now. There's just a few things up, and I need to patch some holes and things like where the nails are. So you're going to notice a little bit of shifting going on as I shift into the holidays. So we'll see what happens. I'll keep you guys, well, we're going to talk more about all this. And I did not do a tiny tidy video this week. I will be. I'm going to come back and do a tiny tidy video. I love that collab. It's a wonderful collab. When I was sick, I couldn't keep up. So I'll be back, I think, next week with a tiny tidy. And in the meantime, go over and check out those videos, because those are really helpful for just getting yourself ready for the holidays. There's so much to consider. But today we're going to focus on hosting a Thanksgiving dinner. Now, I only have a few minutes before I got to run out the door. I've got the biometric screening today. I'm going to go get all my numbers figured out. So this video, I'll be popping in and out and kind of go through my day, and we're going to focus on this topic though. When we host Thanksgiving, well, anything, we want it to be epic. We want it to be perfect, don't we? I mean, we want everybody to have fun, and we want it to be relaxing, and we're like, there's like, we worry, don't we? You get certain people together and you're like, they don't, like, it's like any event, you just want everyone to be relaxed and enjoy their day. And it's not always easy, especially when you get people who are close together and are very opinionated. Like, I know this, like, I love my family, but we're all diverse, we all come, like, it's a little, like, it can be stressful. Let's face it. I don't care who you are. It can be stressful, especially as your family grows. So how do you host that holiday where everybody's gonna, it's gonna be epic. Everybody's gonna enjoy it. Get a notebook. You guys are gonna see a lot of my notebooks in the coming up months, weeks, leading up to Christmas and the New Year's and all the things. Get a notebook. This one's like $1.29 at Walmart. This is a new notebook. Get a notebook. Get a pen. This is your holiday control journal, okay? That's in Fly Ladies terms, your control journal. It's your notebook where you write everything all to do with your holiday planning. Let's talk about the guest list. So who is going to be coming? Write down on your list everybody you want to invite, who you want to be there. Call them up, invite them, send them an invite if you want to. We're pretty casual with this stuff in our family. Some families, they take turns hosting. That's what we do. So kind of everybody knows who's going to host different things, because we talk about it when we all get together. So we knew this year my brother-in-law's hosting. I'm not hosting. Send out your invites, or call your family members and say, I'm hosting. Here is at this time. Here we're eating dinner at 1 o'clock or whatever. Now just keep in mind, like I always do this, like, okay, I might get 10 RSVPs, and I always know that's not how many people are going to show up. So just keep that in mind. You might have a few extra, or you might have a few less than that. But I've had anywhere from 18 people to 8 people. So over the years, things change. Make sure you don't get too locked in. I know it's hard when you think 8 people are coming, and then all of a sudden you end up with 15, and it is stressful. Don't stress over that stuff. Just your main thing is just make sure you know how many people you're inviting. You know your family. You know who's going to be late, or who's not going to show, or who's going to be 30 minutes early. Now, think about this. You've got some people who might be vegetarian, who might be gluten-free. These days, it's like, who knows? Like in my time, like all the years I've hosted, we know what our family likes. We're all meat and potatoes. We're simple. And if you're vegetarian and you come to my dinner table, then just don't eat the turkey, but pretty much anything else. So, but gluten-free and all of that, we don't have that in our family. And I know some people that's really an issue for you, and you've got to work that out. Like sometimes we'll have a guest that comes, maybe they didn't have anywhere else to go. Our family always has extra people kind of come because they didn't have anywhere else to go, and we may not know them that well, but then whoever reached out to them or invited them, so we asked them, check in, make sure that, make sure if they're diabetic or they're gluten-free, make sure that so you can have at least something that they can eat. And sometimes, they'll offer to bring something if they're gluten-free or they're diet. And if you're invited somewhere and you have special needs for your diet, make sure you let the host know, because they're not trying to ruin your holiday if they don't have your food there. But they have a lot of people to cook for, and don't take it personal. Just you take something that you can eat. Take a dish that's gluten-free that you can share with everybody. Who knows? Maybe they'll like it. All right, I gotta go to my appointment in 15 minutes. I gotta jump in the car right now. I'll let you guys know how my biometric screening goes. So I'll be right back. Just got through with my biometric screening, and it was good. All the numbers were good. I had no issues this year, so yay. Blood pressure was good, everything was good. I walked in and realized I'm wearing my bedroom slippers, but I'll show you a picture of them when I get home. These are my slippers. And you can see, they have soles. I mean, they're super comfy. And they kind of go with my flannel shirt, but they are slippers. Anyway, that's what I wore for my biometric screening. Yeah, we're back here now. We're going to now talk some more. Now, in our family, because we've pretty much gotten together with the same people for so long, we know what everybody likes. So what I like to do is, I've even done this where I've polled. My sister-in-law did this too. It was kind of my sister-in-law's idea, actually, I think initially. But we've kind of gone through and said, what is your favorite dish? So we, like somebody might have, like we have two people that like sweet potato casserole a certain way, because it's the way that grandmother made it. So I always make that every year. And then the green bean casserole, Jell-O. And we do Jell-O with applesauce. It is so good. So much better than just hot water. So that's our secret to Jell-O. So we always have to have Jell-O, turkey, dressing, mashed potatoes, dressing, sweet potato casserole with the marshmallows on top. That's how we like it. And then green bean casserole. Like those are, and cranberry sauce, although half of us don't eat it, but it wouldn't feel like Thanksgiving without at least some cranberry sauce, whether they're canned or fresh. I don't care. I made them fresh one time. Nobody liked them. So now I don't ever do that. If I'm hosting, you get it out of the can, and I just make it look pretty. So I just garnish it, and a few people like it. So you kind of have to figure out what your favorite dishes are. So no, it's not a one size fits all kind of thing, though. Sometimes you get new people coming in, new family members, people get married, life goes on, got new family members coming in. So yeah, the menu's changing, but pretty much in our family, we know, I have a Band-Aid on from my biometric screening. We kind of know what we're doing, what we're going to have. But you do have to keep in mind that it is a diverse crowd, and don't assume that everybody likes turkey and dressing. I'm just saying. So just be prepared for that. I know where I live in the southwest of the United States, and in Colorado. And, we have a lot, Mexican food around here is huge. So like we sometimes for Christmas we'll do a Mexican buffet. We love it. But, like that's a tradition of a lot of people. So just, keep that in mind with your menu. Don't be afraid to experiment and put a few new things out, is all I'm saying. And do make sure, like food allergies, you just want to make sure that you're kind of aware of that. But, the guest really has to be mindful of that too, right? So, yeah, you really don't want to have to go to the ER on Thanksgiving dinner because somebody ate dessert that had peanuts in it, but, okay. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is budgeting. You really need to set a budget for your Thanksgiving dinner. And don't be afraid to do potluck style. Like, seriously, ask people to bring something if you need to. We do that. So we always make certain things, and then there's certain family members that are really good at certain things. I always do the sweet potato casserole. My sister-in-law always does the Jell-O salad. So ask people to bring something. They won't be offended. And if they don't want to, if they can't cook, not everybody cooks or has time to, there's lots of options for picking things up. And they can always bring dessert and just go to Sam's Club and pick out one of those really awesome pumpkin pies or pecan pies if they're not allergic to nuts. Or go to like Village Inn or IHOP, one of those restaurants, that serve the pies. That's where we like to get our cream pies. And we'll have lemon pie at Christmas. It doesn't have to just be for summer and Easter. You can do the turkey ahead. I did a video on that. I will link it in my description because that's what I would do if I were hosting this year. And I still might do that. I still might cook a turkey and stick it in the freezer. Yeah. Anyway, I have a video on that. John kind of helped me out. He's the star of that video. But if you're interested in knowing how to cook a turkey ahead and freeze it, check out the description. Some of the dishes can be made 2-3 days ahead. I think there's certain dishes that I could probably cook ahead, like the turkey. It works really well, but I do the dressing on the day of. Mashed potatoes are on the day of. Things like that. But just keep in mind that you can cook some things ahead and do that. I could cook the sweet potatoes ahead and then have them in the fridge. And then the morning of, just put the marshmallows on top and stick it in the oven and just brown the marshmallows. Same with the green bean casserole. That could be mixed up ahead and then you just throw them in the oven. Stuff like that. So think ahead. So have your shopping list. Make sure, you go to the store and get your shopping list, come up with a budget, ask other people to contribute. Do not look at my table, by the way. I am in transition here with I took down all the Halloween stuff. I have very minimal fall stuff up right now. I'll probably put a little more up, but I'm just in this mood to redo and stuff. So yeah, I'm in total transition in that room. So just have a timeline. That's all it is, a timeline, counting up to the day, and look at when you can cook certain meals. That really, really helps. Make sure you clean out your refrigerator because that is, that's important. You're going to want room. So clean out your refrigerator. And if you have an overflow refrigerator, it really does help to get the mustard and the ketchup and the things that you probably won't use that day and put them in your other fridge. That's what we do. All those things you have in your fridge that you really don't use that often and you won't need for that holiday, stick it in your overflow fridge and you have all the room for all the dishes. And just keep in mind, if other people are bringing things, which they often do, even if you don't ask them to, they may bring something. You want room in your fridge. That happens to us every year. Somebody will bring a nice big dish of this wonderful awesomeness and it has to be refrigerated. So yeah, keep that in mind. Have some extra space in there. Now, as far as decor and ambiance, if you don't want to do a whole lot, I think having just some pretty centerpiece on the table is the most important thing. Even if it's just a small bouquet of flowers, fake or real, or some candles, it gets you this cozy vibe, You can put on some background music. You don't have to have a ton of decor out. Some people really like that, but some people these days do not. They like minimal. And I feel anymore, I'm just kind of getting into this more minimal decor in my own space, but I like to go to other people's places and enjoy all the crazy chaos decor. I do. I love it. It's creative. It's inspiring. But if I have it around me all the time, I can get distracted. But that's just me. So keep in mind, Thanksgiving, that the meal is not just a meal. It is an experience. Now, I talked a little bit earlier about seating arrangements. I like to draw a diagram on my page, and I actually put little chairs around there and I label them and where are we going to sit everyone? You do want to be mindful where you sit certain people. You kind of know, you kind of know your family, and you're like, okay, every year these two get together and they start talking about politics or they start talking about religion, and then we end up having an incident. That has happened at our table. That's happened at most families have experienced that at least once. And so we're mindful of that. And you know what? Some people will be like, it's always fun to see. Let's do it. Let's put them together. And it's like putting two wet cats in a room together and just, trying to herd them into a room. Let them go at it. I'm not for that. I mean, I'm like, no, I want everybody to enjoy their day. So, but hey, if that's your thing, then you won't really care and you'll just put them together, and nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying, at our table, I would prefer not to have that going on. Now, don't forget, you've got to have the whipped cream, even if you're not bringing, okay, so I just transitioned without transition. All right, segue. There was no segue. All right, libations, desserts, okay? If you're not bringing the pies, or somebody else is bringing the pies, I would go ahead and put a little bit of Cool Whip or whipped cream in your fridge, just in case they don't bring. I always have that in my fridge. Also, libations. Do you guys drink wine? We always have coffee, wine, tea, soda, water. We always have plenty of all of that. Not everybody wants, like wine and alcoholic beverages. Sometimes that's probably not a good idea, but, it's just something to note whether you're going to do that or not. That's a personal preference. Now, let me tell you the secret to having a conflict-free, fun holiday at our house is we always play a game. We always have some kind of game or something going on, because if things start getting tense and people are sitting around, we do a lot of karaoke. I think I've said that before. We all take turns singing karaoke and things like that. We love that. We're just, we just have such a good time with that. Karaoke is a lot of fun. And that's an activity. Also games. There's every year we play some kind of game. And usually it's a simple game where, because sometimes we might have 10 people or more. So it can't be one of those games that takes hours and hours. We do try to do something where we can have everyone participate, even if we have to make up our own game, which we have. John loves to make up games. Also, when you're all engaged in a game of some sort or some activity, you're less likely to get into those little conversations that lead to the incident kind of stuff I talked about earlier. All right, one of the things we do before we have dinner, and you have to kind of do it quick because you don't want the food to get cold, but we always pray all together before we begin our meal, and that's our personal preference. So if that's not your thing, that's fine, but we always say our prayer, and then we each go around the table and list one thing that we're grateful for Thanksgiving. It's really simple. It's become a tradition, and it wouldn't feel right without doing it. And everybody knows, if they're going to talk a long time, their food's going to be cold. It's fine. Now let's talk leftovers, because after the meal, after everything's done, are you sending leftovers home? People love leftovers. We always send leftovers, and we always have containers. Sometimes I will go out. Black Friday is a good time to do this, or not Black Friday, before Thanksgiving. Oh yeah, for Black Friday, I get them for the Christmas leftovers. But buy them on the sale and then hang on to them. Get a box of those, I will usually get Rubbermaid, but the little plastic little containers, you can find some really good deals on those sometime during the year. Just get a box of them, place them, put them off to the side, and everybody's going to love you come Thanksgiving. And then you don't send home your really fancy ceramic kind of storage container with somebody, and then you never get it back because life is busy. And it's not that they mean to, but life is busy and they don't return it, and then you're really bummed because now you're out one of your nice sets. Don't send anybody home with your nice set, or some Ziploc bags or some aluminum foil. There's lots of options, but keep that in mind. How are you going to deal with your leftovers? Another idea is you can create a leftover station. So after you're done eating, in our case, we do a buffet, leave everything on the table, put your containers off to the side, and just say, okay guys, go through, here's your container, go around and take whatever you want. That's kind of a new thing this year that I thought of, and I'm like, I might do that for our next, because usually I'm scooping everything out. I'm going to everybody, would you like a piece of pie? Do you want some turkey? Do you want some dressing? And then I do it myself. But I like the idea, unless you have somebody in the family who takes all the mashed potatoes and doesn't leave any for anybody else. Yeah, I might rethink that. I have somebody in my family who might do that. My husband. So all right, use your own judgment, but there's an idea for you if you want to have a leftover station and let people get their own leftovers. So we've gone over the guest list, a menu budget, grocery shopping. Oh, I didn't really cover much of the grocery shopping. I also cook my turkey in a Reynolds bag. So again, check that link if you're interested in knowing how I do that. So if I'm going to cook it ahead, then I will buy it a little bit sooner. I've just started doing that where I freeze my turkeys and then cook them, I cook them ahead. That's a relatively new thing for me. And I've only been doing that for a few years now. So whatever your plans are, I hope this has helped you. And share this video if you know somebody else who is struggling. If you're in a new family, here's my little tip. If you're in a new family and you want to make everyone happy, talk to the matriarch or whatever, patriarch, whatever of the family, and get an idea of what their traditions are. The first year I was married to John, I wanted to impress everyone. So I cooked the first year I did Thanksgiving. I cooked everything from scratch. And they liked it. It was a lot of work. And I went all fancy. And then after being in the family for years, what I realized is stovetop dressing is just fine. Whatever your family has grown up with, that's generally, I think, a lot of times what they'll want. So don't stress yourself out. And don't be afraid to ask for help. Get other people involved. All right, I hope that this video is helpful for you. Let me know in the comments if you have any other suggestions. This by no means is a comprehensive list of everything that you need to consider, but these are just some ideas that I came up with and I wanted to share with you. And hopefully that makes your day and your life a little bit easier. Let's not stress out. This is the holidays. Let's enjoy our times together with family and loved ones and doing the things that we enjoy doing in our own tradition. Not being afraid to try a couple new things when the opportunity presents itself. And just remember, we've got this. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you're doing well. Take care. I'll see you on the next one.
I know you're all about the good vibes.